Warning: Ethan should not be considered to be an expert in, well, anything. Do your own research, form your own conclusions.
Hi there everybody, welcome to the desk edition of Wrong About Everything. So it's been a very fun launch week, but it's also been pretty exhausting to produce a video a day while also trying to find the tone and direction for this whole thing. I think it's becoming clear that the time for reflection and research the full week between videos will afford will be a welcome change for everybody. But until then, and for the last two videos of launch week, I've decided to talk about two more general nebulous ideas that have been floating around in my head for a little while. Today's topic has a lot to do with the central philosophy of the site and might help to explain why I don't have traditional reviews of video games or TV or whatever here. So it comes down to this. First impressions are big impressions, but I think that our instinct to rely on them does a disservice to everybody, ourselves included. As I think about this, I find that people, myself definitely included, have a hard time not placing art or people into a category as soon as they can, and then letting pride not let them kind of change their opinion on this first impression. This feels like an extension of pattern recognition, which is a great skill to have as humans, but in civilized society is something that can hold us down as often as it can help us. Let me give you an example. Just recently I was listening to a new album by an artist who I used to love, but I've grown skeptical of over the last few years. Anyway, while I was listening, this was going through my head. Steven Wilson's hand cannot erase proves that his musical intuition was fated to fall apart with nothing under to support it. Shut up! Shut up! That voice is always in my head, and it's gonna come out in these videos, as I'm sure you've already seen. It has its uses, but I don't want it around for the listening process. Listening is about receiving information and then not responding to it immediately so that we can be surprised by what we hear and learn something new. As much as I talk and talk and talk in these videos, in many social situations, I prefer to sit back and listen to the way that other people interact. I've been so drastically wrong about art and people that I'm constantly trying to listen to that voice that speaks so definitively and then tell them to cool it. I believe that this is a difficult thing to maintain because I don't think the voices in our head have the same distinction and clarity that I can give them in this video. Because although our immediate reactions and first impressions can be helpful tools, the music that I love is so much more than just the way it made me react and feel the first time I heard it. And the movies, TV shows, and video games that I love have taken me years and multiple experiences to truly appreciate. That's why reviews don't make a lot of sense to me, and that's why no matter how sure of myself I sound when I'm talking about Dragon Age Inquisition, for example, I know that at this point, those are basically just first impressions. This is why, as scary as it might seem, I don't think we should ever fully trust our reactions, no matter how well developed our intuition is, because sure, maybe we are right, but maybe we're wrong. Some of my favorite art and people made a terrible first impression on me, and I know that I've made plenty of terrible first impressions on other people. This isn't to say that I believe that we should never have impassioned reactions, or that we shouldn't put any stock in our first impressions. Just that we should view things as maybe less solid than we tend to. I think it's okay and says nothing ill about you if you choose to write something about a movie one day and completely believe it, and then write something completely contradictory the next week and still completely believe it. I want to let go of my pride when it comes to my reactions. I don't want to pretend that I've arrived at a conclusion about a work or another person when I don't believe that's something that can actually be achieved. Anyway, blah blah blah. Please, write in. Tell me what I'm wrong about. I've been trying to think of ways to start responding to feedback in video form so I can start to include people more actively in the conversation. So send me ideas about that too. Until then, I'm going to play some piano by the moonlight. How pretentious. How do you play this thing?